comment. Shading did say, why not just fix them up and make a new Peoplemover? Talking about the Peoplemover tracks. We have talked about this in previous episodes. It's not just as simple. It's not as simple as fixing the tracks, putting new tracks into it, putting up a couple guardrails. It's not that simple. It requires, gosh, I believe the tracks would have to be bigger in some capacity. They'd have to be bigger, which is not really plausible when you think about it, because like I said, all of these tracks are intertwined between all the buildings. And as you can see down here in the I should have gotten more pictures to use, but as you can see down here in the right, this is where the tracks enter the Star Tours building. There's no place for expansion. You can't make the tracks any wider than they already are without digging into the Star Tours building, digging into the outside, the other side of it, which is the gosh, right next to the Plaza Inn. Yeah, we've said this a couple times, but yeah, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, like Matt was saying, OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health, I think it's administration or whatever, walking space on both sides of the Peoplemover track, so that way people could exit the Peoplemovers safely. And so basically there would have to be railing and room on both sides of the track, not just one side of the track like there currently is today. And even then, only some parts of the Peoplemover track even have walking space. Some are so tight that it's just room for the vehicles themselves. So there's that. There's also the fact that the last attraction, which was on those tracks, the rocket rods, were such heavy ride vehicles and were not designed for this track. The track was just not designed to handle these heavy ride vehicles going quickly over them. So there's actually been a lot of structural damage to the actual pylons and support systems that keep the Peoplemover track suspended. And so there's a lot of damage to that. And so even if they were to fix that damage, they would still have to widen the tracks, and there's no room for that. And so basically Disney is just looking to get rid of the Peoplemover tracks. It's the easiest thing to do right now. You could say that there might be the ability for Disney to grandfather in the use of the tracks because they were already constructed, they're already built, but that's a whole nother story. Oh gosh, I just said the word a whole nother. That's a whole other story. So in any case, yeah, that's that. For those of you who wondered about that, that's what's going on with the Peoplemover tracks right now.
Yeah, like Alex said, it's just not as simple as adding a couple of railings on the inside, adding a couple emergency escape doorways, I guess, adding that, because like I said, it'd be cutting into all the buildings. It'd just be easier if they were to bring back the Peoplemover. They'd have to not necessarily tear down all of the buildings. They'd have to tear down a large majority of the buildings that currently exist in Tomorrowland. Save for maybe the Carousel Theater area. That probably wouldn't need to be changed as to the extent that the Star Tours building would have to be changed. But yeah, do not count on the Peoplemover coming back anytime soon. That is very sad to say. I really want the Peoplemover to come back. It is, I'm really sad I never got to experience it when it was open, but yeah, just don't count on it coming back anytime soon, or even honestly even coming back at all. It'd just be way too expensive to have to rip out the tracks from all the buildings and rebuild them to whatever safety standards there are today. I don't know much about that kind of stuff, but yeah, it would be very difficult to do that kind of stuff. Now, gosh, what else were we going to talk about? There was a couple other things that Dave from Fresh Baked mentioned that I want to talk about. He did mention that, hey there Mountaineers, I hope you enjoyed this short excerpt from the recent podcast, and if you guys did, be sure to check in the description for the link to the full podcast so you guys can listen to it while you guys are doing laundry or taking a long drive or whatever. It doesn't matter when you listen to it, but make sure you guys go support me on Patreon and go check out Alex the Historian's channel too, because he makes some really great content, and be sure to support him too, because without him there would be no Matterhorn Mondays. Have a great big beautiful tomorrow.
Thank you.